Welcome to Health Hactivators with lifestyle medicine doctor, GP and longevity expert Dr. Alka Patel. This show will help you to discover a hidden health hacking code that unlocks your phenomenal potential for an outstanding health span, lifespan and wealth span. The show features candid conversations with celebrities, influencers and industry icons, real-life stories and cutting-edge health activating advice that other doctors might not tell you. Discover why now is the time to join the strategic self-care revolution and experience the profound effects this will have on your personal and professional success. Now, here is your host, Dr. Alka Patel.
Hi, hey, and hello, Health Hactivators. Now, I am very, very excited for today's show because on today's show, I am joined by the very infectious Derrick Errol Evans, MBE. Now, you'll know him as Mr. Motivator with his boundless energy that exploded on our TV screens back in the 90s on GMTV. You'll remember his incredibly popular and, oh my gosh, so motivating fitness sessions. Now, when I think back to the 90s, what I distinctly remember is, of course, his super colorful outfits, which were his trademark. And guess what? This cacophony of colour has not ended. You will still find Derrick clad in colour with a very colourful career to match. And it's all been fueled by his intense focus on fitness and on well-being. So what's Derrick been up to? Well, he's been an avid promoter of the NHS campaign Change for Life. And through COVID as well, he was part of the BBC's Health Check Live programme, which was keeping fit and fit during lockdown. And what I know is that he's also an active charity supporter, which I'm sure we'll be talking about more on today's show. And when I say active, I mean active from an activity perspective. He injects action into everything that he does and everything that he supports. So what are we talking about today? Well, we're talking about exercise, of course we are. And we're also talking about gratitude, responsibility, identity, prostate cancer, and sleep. So you'll find us chatting about a whole host of topics that I know Derrick is very, very passionate about. So if you are ready to get active and activated, then this is a conversation you are going to love. Hello, Derrick, and welcome to my little screen, because I've seen you on my big screen, and here you are in front of me. I'm super excited to get.
I'd do anything for money. That £5 that you sent over, right, was so tempting. How could I say no to you?
I love it. You've spilled the secret already, hey?
Yeah. But you know something? It's so nice to be called Derrick, because often when I do these interviews, and I've done so many, it's always, what do I call you? Do I call you Motivator? Do I call you Mr. M? Do I call you Derrick? No, just call me Sir.
Sir Derrick Evans is the proper title, isn't it?
Yeah,
MBE.
it is. MBE.
Well, look, let's talk about that. Tell me about that moment and how that felt.
You know, I think it's kind of incredible when you have the kind of upbringing that I've had, which began in Jamaica and, you know, being given away at 3 months of age and to actually this year go and collect an award, the MBE, which was originally given by the Queen in 2020, but because of the lockdown, I wasn't able to get it. So I went this year in March to collect it from William. It was great. It was just wonderful. And he was just so gracious. I mean, you know, all the protocol you're told about, you know, 5 steps to the right and turn left and stay off the red carpet. And he will come to you and, you know, you don't go on the red carpet and he won't come off the red. All that went out the window. He came off the red carpet, put his hand on my shoulder. He goes, you know, I've wanted to meet you for so long, right? He says, I grew up with you. You were in my living room, right? I wonder which living room when I was growing up. And I've always really charmed. He's really charmed. We had a good chat. And yeah, good. It's nice to be recognized for something that you enjoy doing.
Absolutely. And for you, it's been unwavering, hasn't it? Because, look, you hit our screens in the 90s and you've continued to keep your focus on what matters to you, fitness, health, well-being, but you've really kind of broadened that as well, haven't you? So what is it about you? I know you say, you know, Mr. Motivator, but there's got to be some motivation there. What is it for you?
Well, you know, I think it's so important that all of us, right, that what you do is you don't stay constant. The only constant in life is change. So you must evolve and change. You must grow, right? And in growing, that means you pick up more knowledge. And I maintain that as the decades have gone by, so much wiser I've become. And also, I've learned really what's important to me. What is it that's going to keep me upright? What is it that's going to stop me collapsing under the weight of the society we have and all the problems out there? And the only person who can keep me up there is me.
Yeah.
Right. And I think, we all need to take control of our own health, our own lives. And there's no saying, never put the key to your happiness in someone else's pocket. And that is because you need to take responsibility. And so yes, I'm banging away at the drum, and I've been doing this for 30 years, right? Into next year, with 30 years, consistently telling people, like the woodpecker, beating away at the tree, right? Eventually, you break through, and some people hear and some people listen. And those who embrace a more active lifestyle benefits in so many ways as they get older, because the independence of the older person is critical. That's why I've always said the greatest gift you can give yourself, your family, your friends, is an independent, healthier you. And that only comes from you taking responsibility for your health and looking after yourself.
Oh, I totally echo absolutely everything that you said. I've been a doctor now for over 25 years. And the one thing that happens, Derrick, is it's exactly the opposite of what you've described. People want to come and land their health on my lap and only take it back once it's fixed, but don't want to hold it as their own. And this sense of responsibility. But more than that, I think we're describing this excitement and this ignition about wanting to own your health and not give it away. I think that's so important. And that's the energy that you inject as well, isn't it?
Thank you. Well, that's exactly what, listen, everyone has heard the message of health, fitness, and everything else, looking after yourself. And the NHS, bless their heart, they have their sites with all their blue walls and white walls and someone talking down to everybody about exercise. If you want to get people engaged, you have got to have fire in your belly. Yeah. Right? You've got to be passionate about what you're talking about. But if it's, you ought to be taking up a healthier lifestyle and only do, 5, and it's 3 times a week, 30 minutes in your heart rate in a training zone. That is not going to fire anybody up. But if I say to you, right now, you can change your very existence, the way you look at the world, by just imagining that there's an orange between your shoulder blades, and I want you to gently squeeze out the juice of that orange with me. Automatically, you have changed the way you sit. I'm
doing it, Derrick. I'm doing it right now. I've got that orange between my shoulder blades. I feel it.
Is it wetting you as it runs down your back?
Completely soaked, yes.
Yeah. And I think that's exactly what it is. And so for me, the fun in anything has got to be what you do. It's a bit like disguising vegetables in a pie so the kids don't know they're eating it. What you've got to disguise exercise in this kind of fun, sugary coating. And people go, you know what, the music's great. That movement was real easy. It's not complicated. I'm not expecting to actually hurt myself. Yeah. And then hopefully you get engaged to want to do it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think the word exercise as well itself just compartmentalizes what you do. You've got to go to the gym. You've got to do 150 minutes a week, says Public Health England. You've got to really train hard. And it isn't that. Let's at least get the nation moving. Let's get ourselves moving, right? I remember in my practice, I mean, most doctors sit all day long. Yeah. And I took a new stance and I started standing. And then I started going in my lycra. I used to do Sunday morning surgeries and go in my lycra. And you know what happened? My patients then, instead of coming in their pajamas and their slippers on a Sunday morning, they came in their fitness gear. So there's all of that modeling, right, that happens subliminally, subconsciously.
Yeah. And we all need to do it because I think there's no point, the very person who's telling you that you should take up an active lifestyle, not reflecting it, right? And unfortunately, that's what happens with government. You look at the people up there, you think to yourself, who the hell are you to tell me to become more active? Well, when I look at you, I see someone who is inactive. And I think it's the same thing with doctors. Only yesterday, I was down in Cardiff doing a talk to about 150 anaesthetists, all right? And we were talking about the benefits of exercise pre-operation. Pre-operation. And you will know this because if you're going to have, a cancer operation, for example, you got 2, 3, 4 weeks before an operation. All the work we've been doing with UCH and guys tells you that even with only 2 weeks to go before an operation, if you start doing some walks, some sitting up, some standing up, you're going to be fitter for that operation and you're going to recover quicker. So the benefits, the curative power of exercise is there for all to see.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's research that that really sort of really establishes what is possible. And I talk a lot about longevity as well. And if you look at just standing up, if you stand more than you sit, you add 2 years to your life. But
There you go.
you know what, Derek? Even telling people this, what do you think is the barrier? Why is it that people are not doing what feels so easy and necessary? What is the block?
There are many reasons. Because listen, our success in anything, and you ask an athlete this, he will tell you, listen, I train 7 days a week. I do stretches, I run, I sprint, I do everything. But if when I get to that starting block, my mind is somewhere else because of a problem at home or a situation I'm dealing with, I will lose that race. Biggest control in all of us is our mind.
Sure.
So we all know we want to do it, we all know we need to do it.
Yeah.
But the wanting to do it is the thing. And that only comes from in your head. You've got to get up and do it. And taking that first step is so important. But also, I think it's critical that we recognize that doctors also have a real major part to play here. And when someone comes in for a checkup and you tell them they're okay, you should also follow it up with the words, right? But guess what? You won't always stay like that unless you get more active.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I love that. And you know what? I'm not into the word okay. I don't like saying your results are fine. People can be even better. You can be at your finest. You can be at your most optimal. Like you can be beyond okay, right?
Oh, absolutely right. And I think that's why we should never, I think, honestly, you should go out to all doctors, never tell someone everything's fine.
Yes.
Because there are things bubbling underneath, right, that will manifest itself tomorrow. So the message should always be that, listen, if you want to protect where you are and feel better about yourself and get fitter and get healthier, whether you got to get more active. And guess what? Just getting up out of the chair every hour for 2 minutes, getting up and sitting down, getting up and sitting down, works so many muscles. If you walk, every step you take, 250 muscles come into play. I mean, that's amazing. And remember this, if you have a computer and it starts to slow down, what do? We think to ourselves, okay, we need to probably get it serviced, or maybe we should buy an external hard drive so we could take some stuff off there to free up the memory. We're no different, right? When we start feeling under stress and feeling we need to offload somewhere, well, one of the best ways to offload is actually to deflect away from your problem by doing something active, going for a walk, looking through your photo albums, doing whatever that deflects you away from your problem and makes you feel good.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. This is all super motivating. We know now why you're called Mr. Motivator, Sir Motivator. But
Thank you.
I'm sure for you as well, there have been perhaps health challenges along the way. So if you look back, what's been the biggest health challenge for you, would you say?
I've had quite a number. But one thing we learn about life is that your stresses are often caused by other people. So in other words, if someone, let's say, for example, my daughter is really having a rough time, or she may have had a loss, like we had a loss at Christmas. My youngest granddaughter, her daughter, 12 years of age.
Gosh.
So the stress that my daughter is under is greater than the stress I felt with losing my granddaughter, because I've taken on her stresses. I'm trying to be strong for her.
Yeah.
And being strong for her means I can't show any weakness. I can't cry when I would like to cry. I can't do any of those things. So it's only when you get a moment away and you realize, my goodness, I don't feel that particularly well, or you collapse in the chair, right, that you realize that someone else's stress is now on top of you, and that's what's bringing you down. And until you cry and release it, and really release that tension, I understand why women cry so much. It's a wonderful medicine. That crying actually just releases and makes you feel so much better. And as men, we need to learn to wear our heart on our sleeves a lot more. And that means when you feel elation because something's good, you cry because you feel good about it. And equally, when things aren't good and you feel terrible, let it out, have a good cry, and trust me, you will feel better. In terms of health challenges, I've been very blessed. I mean, I'm 70 now, and I do not ever intend to reflect a 70-year-old because I see them out there. And I always say that, remember, your purpose in life could either be an inspiration to people, or you could be serving as a warning to people. And I see too many 70-year-olds in fact, I see 50-year-olds who serve as a warning to me, right? And so we need to look after ourselves. But my own health, yes, I've had to have knee operation because of an accident I had. But health-wise, I'm not doing badly at all.
Yeah.
I get all my prostate checks. I get all that kind of stuff done, and I'm doing all right.
Yeah, look, first of all, I have to say there's probably been this jaw drop moment from everyone who's been listening when you said, I am 70-year-old. I mean, come on, Derrick. Right?
Yeah, I'm a man who trained twice, 3 times a day, though. Remember that.
Yeah. Yeah, but you're doing it with a mindset, you see. I mean, people can go and train. I mean, I have to share this with you. I'm about to run the London Marathon next year.
Good on you.
So when you talk about training and getting that, the first thing has to be that mindset, taking that identity of, I am a runner. I am energetic, I am healthy, I am organized, I am confident. All of these identities that we need to take on in order to then translate into the action that we take.
Sure. But also, don't forget, you have a goal.
Yes.
And that often is the thing that's missing with a lot of people, because you did ask the question, what is stopping people? You've got to set your goals, and also setting your goal realistically. So in other words, you're not going to go out tomorrow and run a marathon.
No.
You're going to start in stages. And what you want to do is have those small attainable goals. First 2 letters of goal is go. And then you go for those small little things. And every time you achieve, you reward yourself.
Yeah.
Bar of chocolate. Go for a walk next time, right? But everyone needs to have small increments of achievement. So that way you feel good en route. But if you went out tomorrow without the proper training and tried to run a marathon, your body would break down.
Yeah.
But I know from experience that if you slowly do this and peak just at the right time, that marathon will seem like it's only 22 miles when in fact
I'm going to have to take your word for that, Derrick.
I would never do it, by the way. I would do it in a car.
Really?
Well, you never see a happy jogger, and that's my thing. My wife loves running, and every time I see her, she's happy. You know why she's happy?
Go on.
She never wears her glasses when she's running. So she doesn't know who she's passing. So what she does, she smiles, right? And says, good morning, good day, right? Well, in principle, right? She's as miserable about it as I am. What runners love is the afterwards.
Yeah.
Afterwards, when you have that shower, it's amazing. And that sense of achievement is really great.
Yeah.
But you know what? I get it from doing HIIT, interval training, circuit training, weights. I get that buzz. I'm a drug addict, in fact. That's my drug.
Oh, a drug addict. You see, that's what like some doctors are like. They're drug pushers because they push a lot of drugs to their patients. But we don't want to do that. Not on this show, Derrick. Not on this show. You're on the wrong show.
Yeah. But I'm a drug addict because you know what? I release those happy hormones, endorphins, serotonin, right? And that is those are wonderful drugs. And tell me, every time I train, I get to the high, and that high is a place, right, where you feel you could keep going for another hour, right? And it's wonderful. That's the best drug in the world.
Ah, love it, love it, love it. Look, I'm now going to go into what I call my rapid fire round. Okay, so I'm just going to give you a sentence or two or a question, and let's just kind of rapid fire around this. Okay, let's go. So. What's the first word you think of when I say success?
Happiness.
How would you describe yourself in one word?
Example.
Example. Oh, that's powerful. I love that. What is one thing that you want, but you cannot buy with money?
Love.
Love. Okay. Makes the world go round. Oh, yes. Okay. What's the most important thing you've learnt in life?
Keep on breathing.
Yeah, kind of important. Okay.
The most important thing I've learned in life, and a lady called Maya Angelou said it. People may forget what you say. They may forget what you did, but they'll never forget how you make them feel.
Yeah.
And that is powerful.
Yeah. Say it again because it is that powerful. I love that quote.
People may forget what you said. They may forget what you did, but they'll never forget how you made them feel. Yeah.
So important, isn't it? Just to be human.
Yeah, it is. And you know what? I mean, I say to people, I hate when people say, how are you? And you're just about to tell them how they are, and they're a mile down the road. And if we all just spared a thought for every single person, because everyone you meet out there who maybe is not as upright as you, they're carrying loads of burdens, and you can see and feel the burden that they're carrying. When you ask them how they are, wait around and find out, because you could possibly make that person's day by just saying, hey, listen, if you need me to just listen to you, if you need me to just walk along with you and not say anything, I would do it. You could actually be saving that person's life, because often people are fighting battles that you know nothing about. And I could add to the reason why they're not standing up tall. I stand up every day and I look in that mirror and I'm so proud of who I am. And I'm not waiting for anyone else to tell me how well I look and how fabulous you are. I tell myself that, because if you wait around for people to tell you, it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen.
Oh, we could talk about so much. You've derailed me from my rapid fire round now, Derrick.
Sorry, here we go. Rapid fire.
No, but I do want to talk about this, because there's something about validation, isn't there? Internal validation versus external validation. And we hear lots of people now talking about, I've got imposter syndrome and I'm not good enough. And all of this, a fear that comes from looking for it externally. Talk to me about that. What's your take on that?
Well, look, the situation is, right, all of us don't realize that we all have a story to tell, that our lives could be so inspirational to someone out there. And you may only touch one person in the world, but you could be the world to that one person, right? And so what we need to do is to recognize, right, how important we are. And rather than thinking, I'm not significant, I'm too small to make an impact. If you think you're too small, too tiny to make an impact, try sleeping in a bed with a mosquito.
Yeah, I've done that.
And there you are, something so insignificant, but yet still can be so impactful.
Yeah.
And that means there's a place for all of us.
Yeah.
Right? There's a role for all of us. You need to find what makes you happy. What is the one thing that would make you work until 2:00 in the morning, go to sleep for 2 hours, get up and do it again? If you haven't found it, you need to find it. And I'm speaking right now, in particular to ladies, right? And you guys, you start out, you got your single days, then you decide to get married or whatever, then you decide to have a child, and then obviously you're taking on all these different roles. And somewhere along the line, you lose you.
Yeah.
Right? And that's understandable, because your priorities are, I'm now going to cocoon that new baby in with love and care and attention. So you do all that at the expense of you. But there comes a time when, in fact, you need to say, well, okay, I have done my job now. I've given them medication, I've fed them, clothed them, right? They're now ready for the outside world. It's my turn now. Yeah. And if you're listening now and you haven't got to that point where you go, it's my turn, plan it. Plan that next year, next week, next month is going to be your turn. And what you'll do then is you start just finding you. My wife is a classic case of someone exactly that, because she's 65 and she, she's like she's the control, if you wish, in terms of, she's a thermometer, and she's always done other people in front of her. And she, of course, went through menopause. In fact, we thought she still had it, because it's 22 years of menopause, right? She was having. And then she goes away to a spa in Koh Samui, which she had been to many times. But this time she came back, losing the baggage of children, of looking after the family. And all of a sudden she found her. And she started exercising with a passion, right? And watching what she eats and drinking loads and loads of water. And 40 pounds later, here she is. And who is she now when I look at her? The person pre our last child. Yeah. So we have to go back 27 years ago. She's there. Yeah. She's bringing out dresses from those times and putting it on. The smile on her face is incredible. Yeah. Standing in front of the mirror, she's there for so long, right? And so every single person needs to find themselves, right? Don't leave it till it's too late. Find yourself now and work towards that, releasing that inner you.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's so important, because that person has always been there, just gets lost under the layers of life. And just those layers just need to be shared, don't they? And it all comes down to your values. What is important to you? What lights you up? And I'm really glad you've raised this, because on this show, what I'm on a mission to build is what I describe as a self-care revolution. Caring about yourself, because that's what gets so lost. And what you said right at the beginning was taking responsibility to care for yourself, right? To get excited and ignited about it. So tell me this, when I say self-care, what does that mean for you? Why do we need more of it?
Okay, self-care is, men are the worst creatures in the world out there, because they depend on their other half to book the doctor's appointment. They feel there's a problem and they go, well, I'm going to watch it for a day or two. A lady feels there's a problem, she's going to go to the doctor. So men, you have got to take care of your health. That's number one. Number two, I do a lot of work with prostate cancer in the UK. There were serious cases in this country. Yeah. Well, in fact, the figures are frightening, especially in black men. 25%, 1 in 4 black men will get prostate cancer. That is to do with lack of self-care.
Yeah.
The figures double. That's double what it is for white men. So therefore, with black men, there's a problem. 12,000 men lose their lives every year through prostate cancer. It boils down to some horrendous figure, 1,000 a month, if you wish. Break it down even further, 250 a week. Is that 10 a day? I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy, right? Now, self-care is you, number one, checking yourself. Number two, exercising. Number three, finding a way in which you can actually just socialize and interact with people, because you need to feed the mind and the physical side of your life, right? You need to, every single day, don't wait around for someone to tell you how you are. Tell yourself you're important. Think about what the stewardess or the steward or whatever they call them now on an airplane says. Put your mask on first before you can put anyone else's on, right? Yeah. That's what you got to do. You got to put you at the forefront. You are the most important person in the world. Well, if you are, treat yourself accordingly. That's self-care.
Yeah, and that's so powerful. And thank you for highlighting prostate cancer. And it's lovely to hear the work that you're doing with prostate cancer charities as well, because like with any cancer, this isn't. It's not about blaming yourself for getting it, but somewhere down the line are things that you can do to increase your chances of preventing it. And this is the stuff we ignore. If you don't sleep well, if you sabotage your sleep by staying awake on Netflix or on your phone or social media, you're not allowing all that regeneration of your DNA to happen. And of course, then you get mutations and cancer is more likely to happen. If you're not eating anti-inflammatory foods or eating foods that inflame you, you're escalating your risk of cancer. Ditto with the exercise, all of that movement. This isn't just nice to do, it's absolutely critical to do, right? Yeah. So I'm so glad you've highlighted it, because I think when it comes to cancers, and I will go into a little bit more detail about this kind of later on, but it's really, really thinking about what is in my gift to care for myself in a way that is going to do the best work to prevent what you've described. Now, the numbers are ridiculous. It's off the scale of the numbers of cancers that we're hearing about on a daily basis. Those numbers are increasing, and that has to be because there's something in our lifestyles, in your lifestyle.
Oh, absolutely.
We need to challenge.
Absolutely. And I think, that's why self-care means, listen, let me make a list of all the people in my family and my extended family. Are there any medical conditions in any of them? Right, so I got Johnny over here. He's my great uncle, right? And he had this kind of cancer. I got Auntie Julie over here. Auntie Julie, actually, guess what? She definitely had breast cancer. Then there's my my uncle, right? My uncle actually has, guess what he has? He has some kind of history of dementia or whatever it is. If you plot that and write it all down, so that when the day you need to recall it, it's already there. So that's your family history. It can tell you whether, in fact, yours are going to be possibly, maybe susceptible to certain conditions. It can pre-warn you. It can say to you, listen, maybe you should go and have a bowel cancer check. I mean, I have what do you call sigma? I had one of those. I had all those, right? Why did I do it? Because in my line there is, and so therefore I need to be aware of that. Self-care. You have to look after you. But then, apart from your personal care, you've also got to care for other people. And that's where you'll get the joy when you help other people. It's just amazing. Like at the moment, my pet project, and we've been highlighting it on the BBC. I do this morning live thing, and it's called Bed Poverty, where there's 400,000 children who every night go to sleep without a bed. That is criminal. So I'm really trying to find a way in which I can help to ease that problem. And I believe the answer is not just buying a new bed for people, but it's repositioning used beds, of which there are 7 million hitting the pile over there. 7 million every year gets thrown out there. And a lot of them can be repositioned from the hotel, from, student accommodation. So that's my pet project. So maybe, Doc, you'd like to come and journey with me on this.
Oh, let's do this. You've taken me back to my childhood just talking of that. And, certainly not the sort of the cases that you're describing. But as I grew up, I didn't sleep in a bed. We slept on the floor on a sheet, and with 9 or 10 of us in a line. And when that becomes something that starts to impact children, I think that's what you're talking about. It's one, it's not having the bed, but the impact on mental health, on connection, on rest,
their growth.
recharge. It's all that, right?
Oh, yeah, it's all that. I mean, we highlighted, in the program, there were some weeks we did a whole sleep deprivation thing to show the effect on your response and how it slows you down. I mean, it's incredible. And the way when you're very tired, you have these micro sleeps, which could lead to an accident. We did all that, and we looked at how it stunts the growth of a child. And when you got a child who's 14, who for the past 4 years has been sleeping on a beanbag, that is horrendous. When you got a family of 4 that's sleeping on a mattress on the floor, head to toe, that is horrendous. And we've got to do something about it. And I believe I have the answer. So, I'm going to get onto it. So watch out.
I'm on the journey with you. Absolutely. Because the other thing is interesting that you talked about sort of what you discovered was the impact of this. I do a lot of work with using sleep data. So things like wearing this ring on my finger that you'll see that captures information about the quality of your sleep. And it'll be so interesting to see what that impact is depending on how you're sleeping, what surface you're sleeping on. Because you're right. The impact's going to be huge. When we talk about, you've already talked about stress and rest and the importance of focusing on that. So, wonderful. No,
it's ending bed poverty now is going to be what we're going to be working on, because as far as I'm concerned, we've got to change the way things are. Listen, we're really good in this country of helping people abroad and stuff. But guess what? Our very doorsteps, this is going on, and that should not be the case. That's another story. See, we digress again.
We do digress. We could keep talking about that, but you know what? This is a thought that's going to be on my mind as I get into my bed tonight, and I think it's important for everyone listening to just, as you say, feel the comfort of your own bed. We get into bed and go, oh, thank goodness, and I'm so tired and I want to rest, and you do it without thinking, and yet you just highlighted a significant number. Those numbers have blown me away. That don't get that feeling.
Don't forget, that's what we know of. How many families are so proud they wouldn't tell you that their child is sleeping on the floor? That's what the thousands we know of. And you will not be able to get rid of it by just saying, let's donate a bed here, donate a bed here. Yeah, that's great. But I believe the repositioning of used beds is the way to go. And as long as they're treated properly, and there's a machine called the Matilda machine, which I'm looking to get located and put them all over the country. So that way, when you downsize, or you're a hotel that's getting rid of beds, or accommodation getting rid of beds, you take it to this place, they'll reposition it, and a needy family can get it.
Wow, that's great. I mean, I just remembering the number of beds my children went through recycling as they were growing up. One minute they wanted a bed that was like a car, and the next minute they wanted a bunk bed, and the next minute they wanted a king size bed. And where have all these beds gone? It's just really making me think. So thank you so much for highlighting that. And it's also reminded me of my time when I went to India. I had a big pivot from the kind of drug pushing medicine that I'm talking about to the lifestyle pushing medicine that I'm now practicing. And I went off to India to just get a sense of, what else? And watching people sleep there, it's, very, very poignant to see people who are not sleeping on anything that resembles comfort. And even I slept on the thinnest of mattresses, and I did that whole we talked about at the beginning, but that whole princess and the pea thing, to see how many mattresses could I kind of pile on top of each other. So I had comfort, and comfort's one of our basic human needs, right? Safety and comfort.
It is. It's I think we all deserve it. I think every child deserves to have that degree of comfort, because it does mess up with their growth, their development, their education ability. Their social skills actually get suffer as well, because they're no longer able to bring their friends around, and they play on in their room. I mean, so it goes on. And I just think that we need to do what we can to really kind of ease the problem of bed poverty.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Wow, we have talked for a long time. We could certainly continue talking, but I'm going to try and draw this to a close, Derrick. I don't want you to go, but do you have any final words that you would love to share?
I think, it's so important for all of us to treat every single day as our birthday. Don't wait around for that wonderful day that you were born. Let's make every single day between a celebration of life. And when you get up in the morning, I want you to just look in that mirror, stand up tall, and be proud of who you see. And at the same time, just think of 10 reasons why you should be grateful, right? 10 reasons or 10 things that means that you're very rich. It's what money can't buy. It's one of those quick fire questions. And guess what? Your sight. I can hear, I can feel, I can touch. I got someone who cares about me. I can walk, I can move, I can sit up. And always remember, there's always someone out there in a worse position than you. So enjoy your life. And remember, it's only a bad moment. It is not a bad life.
It's only a bad moment. It's not a bad life. And we haven't had a single bad moment in this conversation, Derrick, at all. So I am so grateful to you. You're going to be in that top 10 list of mine today. So thank you. Thank you so much. And look, if people want to reach out to you, find out what you're doing, is there a way of finding you? Where do people go?
Easiest way, just go on Instagram. It's always there because I post loads of motivational stuff.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you do. Yeah, I've seen you. Oh, yeah, I've seen you.
Real Mr. Motivator on Instagram is the easiest way, right? But other than that, just enjoy yourself. Have a great life and live forever. That's what I say.
Oh, you're on the right show for that. We're reversing aging here. I believe everyone has the capacity to live a 1 million hour life. You're well on your way, Derrick.
Oh, thank you so much, Dr. P.
Have a beautiful day. Thank you.
Be well. All right. Thank you.
Wow, what an energizing conversation that was. I can bet every single one of you listening has got a smile on your face right now. He's called Sir Motivator for a reason, isn't he? A very, very well-deserved title. And you know what? I'm feeling so motivated after that. We did talk about a lot of issues. We've talked about exercise and gratitude, prostate cancer, sleep deprivation, and bed poverty. So there may have been something you've heard that has affected you or touched something in you. So if there is something that you want to speak about, then please do reach out to me for support or for more information. You know how to reach me through my website, dralkapatel.com, or through my socials at Dr. Alka Patel UK. Always happy to chat. Now, let me think about all the topics that Derrick and I touched on. I think of all the topics we touched on, what I want to do is to dive deeper into sleep. I was really moved by the figures that Derrick shared on bed poverty. And I have absolutely no doubt that Derrick and I are going to have a conversation to really find a way to work together on this. So what I would love you to do now is to click through to the next episode for my health hacks on sleep, and more specifically on the surface that you're sleeping on. So I'm going to take a deep dive into mattresses, because what I'd love you to do is to buy a new mattress that is perfect for you, so that then your old mattress, well, it can be revamped so that it's perfect for children who currently don't have a mattress to sleep on. So click onto the next episode. I will see you over there to unlock your health activation code and the secrets to the best mattress ever. Wish you a happy health activating day.